Do you feel like things are moving faster than usual lately? Time passes quickly, day after day, and you don't have time to grasp anything clearly. Sometimes there's a strange feeling inside, as if something big is about to happen, but you can't name it yet. If you are feeling this way, then congratulations. You are at the threshold of a period of profound change in your life. And this week, the first week of April, is the important moment that begins all of that. You may not know it, but the sky is very busy. Powerful phenomena like the recent supermoon and solar eclipse are not simply beautiful natural phenomena. They mark a moment of unlocking, an opportunity for you to break through old limitations and begin a new journey. The universe is sending a signal, and the question is, are you listening? This is the time when a lot of people will start to feel the urge to do something different. Maybe you suddenly want to rearrange your living space, want to rewrite your plans for the future, or simply feel like you no longer want to continue the same boring job as before. This is no coincidence. When change is happening out there, your insides will also naturally synchronize in a very magical way. And when your mind realizes that something new is coming, the brain will begin to secrete dopamine, a chemical that creates a feeling of excitement, full of motivation, urging you to want to act and change. However, to fully feel this energy, you need to give yourself some time to be still and observe. Try taking an evening, turn off your phone, sit down and write a few lines about the things you want to change. Maybe you've always cherished the dream of learning something new, embarking on a journey far away, or simply creating a healthier lifestyle for yourself. This week, instead of just dreaming, choose one small thing and start. Even just the first step, like signing up for an online class, scheduling a job consultation, or just waking up 30 minutes earlier to go for a walk, is enough for your brain to sense the signal of change and thereby motivate you to go further. This week was like a small fire being lit. You can choose to let it smolder and die, or you can take care of it, letting it become the guiding light for a whole new chapter in your life. You don't need to know exactly how things will turn out. Just believe that if you start listening to the voice from within and dare to step forward, good things will slowly appear on the road ahead. You know, sometimes in life, there are very small moments that make us pause. One morning, I woke up feeling tired even though I got enough sleep. A conversation made me realize that I haven't felt truly happy in a long time anymore. Or simply a question running through your head. What am I living for? If you felt this way lately, as if something was nagging inside, wanting you to stop and listen, you're not alone. This is the time when you are awakening inside. No noise, no fireworks, but a silent and profound movement. Maybe you can't name that feeling. Just feel restless, no longer interested in the things that used to make you happy, or feel uncomfortable with things that you once accepted easily. And that's not wrong. In fact, it's a sign that you're starting to look back, not to the past, but inward. The universe, in a very miraculous way, always sends us signals, but not everyone is calm enough to recognize them. When you start to feel not the same anymore, it's not that you're lost, it's that you're getting closer to yourself. We are so used to running after life, meeting other people's expectations, doing everything because I have to, I should, that we forget. Sometimes we have never really asked ourselves, what do I want? Try to imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror, but this time, not to check your appearance, but to look closely into my eyes. There was something in those eyes that wanted to be said. It can be tiring, trying to please others. Maybe it's the disappointment of letting go of an old dream just because it wasn't the right time, or simply a sigh of relief at the end of the day, because you know you deserve more. And then, you start asking questions. Why do I do this job? Does this relationship really make me happy? Why do I feel empty when I'm in a crowd? These questions do not come to confuse you. They come to open the door. When you begin to question yourself, you are creating space for yourself to be answered. The great thing is, once you open your heart to listen, you will gradually feel what is true for you. Maybe you will find that the relationship you're trying to keep is just a habit. The people you still see every week, it turns out, are just draining your energy and not helping you grow. And the job you once thought was stable now makes you feel small and limited. You don't have to cut it all out in one day, but you can start by being honest with your own feelings. For example, if you feel exhausted after every conversation with an old friend, give yourself permission to take a step back. If you are no longer excited about your current job, don't try to force yourself to be thankful you still have a job. It's entirely possible to be grateful and still want to change. Those two things are not contradictory. Our brains are always looking for a sense of reward. Dopamine, the feeling of joy when completing something, when being recognized, when seeing yourself progressing. But if you keep living according to what others expect, dopamine will come from the outside, from likes, compliments, or salary. When you start living according to what you really want, dopamine will come from within, from the feeling of freedom, from the satisfaction of taking each step closer to your true self. And this kind of happiness is what lasts. Remember the last time you did something just because you wanted to, not because anyone told you to, not because you had to prove anything. It could be going for a walk alone, writing a few entries in your diary, or cooking a meal you love. At that time, did you feel your mind lighten? That is your true energy. When you live according to what makes you truly happy, you don't need to strain. Everything becomes natural, and you begin to attract things of the same frequency. Inner awakening is not rebellion. It is a journey back to yourself, understanding yourself little by little, daring to say no to things that are no longer suitable, and daring to choose again, even if choosing again may make you different. But you were not born to live the same life as anyone else. During this time, be patient with yourself. There will be times when you are skeptical, tired, and feel alone because no one understands what you're going through. But don't forget, any transformation goes through a period of ambiguity. You're not lost, you're just off the old path. You are awake. You are changing. And that is something to be very proud of. If you feel something urging you to live differently, don't suppress it. Don't rush back to your old lifestyle just because it's familiar. Maybe today, this very moment, is the time for you to choose a new path, although still unclear, but more true to you than ever. Life will not wait for you to be absolutely ready to allow you to begin. As long as you're brave enough to listen to that call, everything will arrange itself. And then you will realize that true happiness does not lie in having more, but in living more true to yourself. You know, sometimes in life we keep waiting for a perfect time to start something, learn a new skill, change jobs, pursue a long-held dream. But day after day, that moment never came. We keep thinking, let's wait until we're stable, let's wait until we have time, then do it. Or simply, I'm not ready yet. But the truth is, you will never truly feel ready. And the amazing thing is, it's when you dare to take a step forward, even just a small step, that you realize, oh, it turns out I can. This week, all the cosmic energy seems to be empowering you. It's like a gentle breeze pushing against your back, whispering, go, start, don't hesitate anymore. This is not the time for you to just sit there and think about your dream. It's the time for you to turn that dream into real action. Think about something you've always wanted to do. Maybe you've wanted to learn the piano, learn English, or start a YouTube channel to share something you love. Or, more simply, you just want to start exercising, eating healthier, or taking time each morning for quiet meditation before the day begins. All of that is worth it. And the good news is, You don't have to do everything big right away. Just start with a small step. The first step. For example, if you want to learn a foreign language, you don't need to immediately sign up for an expensive course or force yourself to study several hours a day. You just need to open a vocabulary learning app. Spend 10 minutes every morning to review a few new words. You want to exercise? Don't think you have to run 5 kilometers or go to the gym 6 days a week. Start with 15 minutes of walking around the house. It's the small, consistent, repeated actions that create big change. Our brains love the feeling of accomplishment, and if you do just one small thing every day, dopamine, the neurotransmitter that creates feelings of happiness and motivation, will be released. This makes you want to do one more thing and then another, until you surprise yourself with how far you've come. A little tip: don't wait for inspiration to strike. Sounds strange, right? But actually, inspiration is not something that comes first before we act. It is action that creates inspiration. For example, you think you'll only be able to write when you're inspired, but the reality is that when you sit down and write the first few lines, the inspiration begins to flow. When you set foot outside the house, take the first few steps, your body begins to warm up and you find yourself wanting to continue. The more you act, the more motivated you become. The more you delay, the more you lose your fire. Ask yourself one simple question. If I could do just one small thing today to get closer to my dream, what would it be? Then do it. An email sent, a page opened, a 15-minute practice session, an idea jotted down in a notebook. It's no small thing. It's the first step in creating a new you. Don't underestimate those small actions, because they are the foundation. You may encounter a voice in your head, but I'm not good yet. I'm not ready. I may not be able to do it. The good news is, no one starts out ready. A good person is not the one who is not afraid, but the one who acts even though he is afraid. You don't have to have everything perfect to get started. You just need to start, then everything will gradually improve for you. Another very important thing: be kind to yourself during this process. Don't blame yourself when you're lazy one day or haven't achieved what you wanted. Understand that every journey has twists and turns, days of sluggishness, and times of self-doubt. But you will get back on track as long as you don't give up. Look at yourself 6 months ago. Would that person dare to do what you're about to do today? If the answer is no, then you've made progress. You can create a series of small successes every day to increase your motivation. Cross one thing off your to-do list. Exercise for 15 minutes. Note a positive thought. The more you feel you're on the right track, the more motivated you are to move forward. This helps your brain realize, I'm making progress, and you'll want to keep it up. This dopamine effect is a form of natural reward that you can trigger simply by starting and maintaining small, regular steps. If you've ever dreamed of a different life, one where you feel freer, healthier, doing what you love, surrounded by inspiring people, remember that it's not far away. It started this very week, from today. No need to wait any longer. You have everything you need to get started. The right time, the support of the universe, and most importantly, a heart that yearns for change. So don't hesitate any longer. Let this week be the week you no longer just dream, but start taking action to make your dreams come true. You've waited long enough. Now is the time to live true to what you want. And I believe you can do it, starting from today. Have you noticed that there are times in life when you suddenly feel like everything is too cramped? It's not the room or house you're in, but the feeling of heaviness inside. You may not realize it right away, but the more you keep too many things that are no longer necessary, from furniture, habits, to people, the more difficult it becomes to breathe, like you're living in a space that does not belong to you. And then at one point you realize, to be able to breathe, to feel lighter, you need to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up everything. It's just a matter of being selective, keeping what's really good for you, and moving away from what's keeping you stuck. It's like you're cleaning out an old cabinet that hasn't been opened in a long time. When you start pulling out each item, you will see that many things are old, broken, or no longer needed, but you still keep it because you think, who knows, maybe you'll need it. This is a memory. It'll be a pity to let it go. That's how many people live with their emotions, storing away relationships, habits, and thoughts that are no longer relevant just for fear of losing them. But it's when you dare to let go that you create space for new, more positive things to enter. Imagine waking up one morning. Instead of turning on your phone and scrolling mindlessly, you spend a few minutes sitting still, looking out the window and breathing deeply. With just a small change like that, you've begun to make room for peace. You no longer let yourself be influenced by a series of information, news, and drama that you don't care about, but still let it take up space in your mind every day. It's like looking back at your closet and asking yourself, do I really need this much clothes? There are things you haven't worn all year, but you still leave them there, out of regret, out of habit. But regretting the old will leave you no room to welcome the new. When you dare to remove unnecessary things, not only does the room become lighter, but your mind is also more open. You feel like you can breathe again. We often don't notice that the very things we are attached to every day are the things that are dragging us down. A coffee date with someone that you're no longer interested in, but still go because you're afraid to say no. A relationship that persists even though you know that person no longer brings you a sense of security or motivation to live. A job where every morning you wake up tired and don't want to go to. These things are like a tight shirt. You wear it forever and feel uncomfortable, but you still refuse to take it off. And our brains are inherently like to get used to. Familiar things, even if not good, still bring a sense of security. That's why when you want to change, some part of you will feel anxious, lazy, or procrastinated. Because the dopamine area in the brain needs to be stimulated by quick rewards. For example, the feeling of safety when doing something familiar, even if it's not really happy. That's why change sometimes scares you, not because you don't have the strength, but because your brain is trying to keep you in your comfort zone. But if you want to live lightly, you need to overcome that feeling. Start with small changes. Clean up your work corner. Delete files you no longer use on your phone or computer. Unfollow social media accounts that make you feel like you're not good enough. This is not only about rearranging your living environment, but also how you renew your own energy. Maybe you've kept in touch with someone just because the history between the two of you is too long. But if after each meeting you feel like you're running out of energy and not being yourself, then it's time to ask yourself, am I nurturing this relationship with real affection, or is it just out of habit? You don't have to cut everything out in one day, but you can start by allowing yourself to step back a bit, observe, feel, and decide for yourself who is worthy of accompanying you on your upcoming journey. The same goes for yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes, what you need most is not to do more new things, but to allow yourself to let go of the invisible pressures you're carrying. Unrealistic expectations, standards you set for yourself without knowing for whom. You don't need to be someone's perfect version to be loved or recognized. You just need to become yourself, a gradually softer, more real version. When you dare to let go, you're saying to the universe, I am ready for better. And believe me, the universe is always listening. There's nothing scary about reinventing yourself. On the contrary, every time you let go of a burden, whether physical, emotional, or mental, you get closer to who you truly are. You will feel lighter in body, brighter in mind, and more open in heart. Give yourself space to breathe. Step out of the old cycle and make room for new energy to flow in. Because life isn't just about how much you keep, but how much you're willing to let go to truly live. You deserve an airy, gentle, and inspiring life. And that change starts with yourself. Right at this moment,